Amelia Boone is a 4-time world champion at obstacle running and one of the most decorated obstacle racers in history. Today we're going to go over 5 methods she uses to push through pain and to be as disciplined as she is. The first method she uses to make sure that she doesn't get overwhelmed when she's running all these miles and to make sure that she doesn't quit, she thinks to herself that she should just make sure that she manages to get to the next obstacle and doesn't think about all the miles that she's got ahead of her. And many other endurance athletes and Navy SEALs, such as James Lawrence and Chad Wright, also have this method of only focusing on what's ahead of them, the next few steps, and not thinking about all the miles they still have to run till the finish line. And then the second tip would be, if we want to cultivate toughness, we need to make it a habit by not giving ourselves the option to actually quit. And then the third tip would be to train in non-ideal environments. For example, when it rains, many people tend to, for example, say, okay, I won't go running in the woods today, I'll go on a treadmill instead. Whereas Amelia Boone, even though it's raining, will still go for a run outdoors. And one reason why training under non-ideal circumstances is so important is that you want to make sure that you are prepared for every single scenario that could happen the day it counts, where your performance actually counts, when you've, for example, got a race or a match or a test. You want to make sure that you've prepared for each worst case scenario that could happen, because if something is familiar to you because you've already gone through the situation beforehand, then it will be less scary if it does happen. And also, one flow trigger. So flow is basically the state in which we perform at our absolute best. And one flow trigger is the perfect skill to challenge ratio. And of course, if the challenge is way too high because you haven't prepared for that challenge yet, and you're not skilled enough yet, you haven't built enough skills to actually deal with that challenge, then you're not going to be able to get into this flow state. What's really interesting is that at first, Amelia Boone actually was no good at obstacle running when she first started out. But what's interesting, and the reason why she continued, is because she reacted differently than other people would under the circumstance. Instead of thinking, I'm no good at this, I'm going to stop because I've failed, what she thought is, great, I've got a new challenge ahead of me. I've now got something that I actually find extremely hard, and now I've got something to work on. So basically, having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset is when you think that your talents or personality traits are fixed. Whereas a growth mindset is if you think that you can improve, you can grow. And of course, if you think that you can improve, then when you do face setbacks, you're not going to stop because you think you can improve. Whereas someone with a fixed mindset would just stop there because they'll just think, okay, I'm no good at this, and it's not going to change. And then the fifth tip is that she uses fear as a compass. And the reason why she does so is that even if it seems very scary at first, usually, and of course I'm not talking about extremely dangerous things that are just stupid, like throwing yourself off a cliff just because it scares you. Things that are scary, that don't lead to fatal accidents. These situations seem so scary at first, but once you've actually gone through them, you notice that it's way easier than you expected it to be. And now everything else seems so much easier to you because you've managed to conquer that fear. Now, if you want to know more tips about how to push through pain, how to be extremely disciplined, you can watch this video here on probably one of the most disciplined people in the world, David Goggins, how he manages to deal with pain, right here.